All right, we back here again. It'll be a short excerpt, real quick. Had a little technical difficulty yesterday, so I still got all the paperwork here, explaining out the situation. I just want to make a couple corrections to what I made the other day. I said something about Monroe and 59. It wasn't. That was in 76, I believe, and that incident happened with an individual named Robert Shorty Nimblett, in which he abducted a lady named by the last name of Todd, and that incident still didn't lead to the closure of the pre-release center. December 12th, 1975, I believe it is. He abducted Carol Ann Todd. She was visiting from Falmouth. She was a school teacher. And this was by Robert Shorty Nimblett. He was convicted and he got 20 years for manslaughter. That's strange. Then also, you had another incident, and somebody was on parole in 1977. His name was Herbert LeBlanc, and he stabbed a woman 24 times while on parole in 77. And he got a 16-year sentence. And it's crazy. Somebody murdered somebody, they get 20 years. Somebody stabbed somebody, gets 16. And even dealing with Robert Shorty Nimblett, he had the nerve to put in a appeal about his statutory good time, which at that time it would have been 12 and a half days, a month, which would have been basically a third of his sentence knocked off. So he only would have did 2/3 of his sentence. Would have been, you got to take 20 and divide that by 3 and add up 2 of those thirds, and that's what you'll get for his time. Like he tried to advocate for that. I just don't understand how that even fits into the demographic of all of that. But anyway, I guess everybody's looking for some type of way to bend their freedom, even when they can't bend it. Or they done bend themselves too far to bend back. Get it on the incident also dealing with that. Like I was saying, in conjunction with the whole history of Berkshire County, it's like a lot of things were propagated because they knew there was going to be a newly formerly district attorney office in Berkshire County, handled by I think an individual with the name of Flynn. Now you can check all the articles going back to the Berkshire Eagle, and I think it's the North Adams transcript. I have some of those in there, and I'll post those too, so you can see those transcripts. There's a lot of funny things going on at that time with that, and those camps were closed down and propagated. The camp was closed down, MCI Monroe in 78. And then turn around a year later, 79, you got the Berkshire District Attorney's Office. And these cases are precursor cases to, the law enforcement community and the judicial community. They use this as a platform to solidify and seal the Berkshire County District Attorney's Office being voted on and basically hand delivered in 79. This is what it is, because once they start the Berkshire County District Attorney Office, for them to stand in the pillars of justice and look eye to eye and the rest of the community, they have to stand on convictions. And the individuals that stand on the convictions are going to be the ones that move up through the ranks. The more convictions and years they have, they're going to move up the ranks. Another thing that I found out dealing with the Bernard Berry case, dealing with Daniel A. Ford. I'll show you this right here, dealing with him. It's just something I got there. It's not his face there. But at the time, he was the prosecutor. He held on the tape for 25 years with another individual, Gerard Downing, which they both were prosecuting the case. Dealing with Bernard Barron. There was a couple. They were drug addicts. And the father didn't want their child around a homosexual. They did tests on Bernard Barron and the child. The child came back positive for gonorrhea in the mouth, not the rectum. They checked Bernard Barron, didn't have any gonorrhea. The child was getting abused, but getting abused somewhere. There was also another lady, and her daughter was abused, but come to find out that, she bribed her daughter to say that, Bernard Barron was sexually abusing her so they can get a lot of money. And it's all on record. You could go to www.freebarron.com or freebernardbarron.com, I believe, or .org. And it's all on there in the list. At the time, there was a main hysteria about sexual abuse going on in America. Now, Daniel F. Ford is handling all this at this point in time, but he ends up leaving to go to a law firm at that time. Came and Hibbert or something of that nature. You can get the name and look that up also. It's on there on that Barron thing. And, at that time, he goes off to work for this law firm that's also trying to litigate and put a civil lawsuit in against the preschool or daycare agency where they were at, to sue about the central fact that the childs weren't, that basically the childs were neglected and there was an institution of sexual abuse. And it's also a funny thing on the flip side of that doing that to Bernard Barron at the time, Massachusetts had a contract with California where they were shipping inmates out of the state. Got to do the math. So this is all to gear up political influence. This is all the political to basically jumpstart their own political base to show cause criminals their part of justice, because the Lady Justice is blind, but that don't mean she don't hear. That don't mean she don't speak. You know what I'm saying? And she has these two scales. You have to weigh these things out sometimes to see what you're really dealing with these people. But I'm going from there yesterday from the things that I explained, and I showed about that. Just to go off before it. Like I said, I'm gonna flip this tape around and record it on the other end.